Hello, welcome back to my frequency. Today we're going to be talking about training a child with structure versus emotion. I notice that sometimes training with a child can be especially frustrating, but yelling is not always going to be the best way to get results. Yelling or getting agitated quickly, because that child is learning from us, or that person, whoever you're training, they're learning and they're going to go out and imitate what it is that you're teaching them. So we want to make sure whatever it is that we're teaching, whatever example that we're setting, is the best possible example that they could get. Routine is definitely going to be a big one for this one. So if you have a routine already set out for that child, that person, is something that they know that they're supposed to do like clockwork. Okay, when you get up, you do this. When you go to bed, you do this. When you come home in the evening, you do this. Without creating that routine, it definitely leaves space for chaos to step in. There are a lot of studies that show even without hitting a child, if you're verbally abusive or you're yelling all the time or you're loud or being irrational, it can cause them to respond to this emotionally and affect them as they turn into an adult. And it could cause them to either be more depressive or more unresponsive to the correct emotion. So someone would have to constantly yell at them, or they feel like they don't have to act or react until someone is yelling. But you want them to get the point that, hey, I need to do this before somebody starts yelling. This is also a part of them learning emotional regulation and how to regulate their feelings. Excuses delay growth, and responsibility creates maturity. So instead of yelling all the time, if they don't get something done, you can create an accountability versus reward system. So like, for example, for my daughter in the morning when she's getting ready, if she's getting ready and she's doing all the things that she needs to do, then her reward is that she's allowed to have tablet time towards the evening. Giving her accountability is saying, okay, I'm going to give you this much time to complete this task, such as like brushing your teeth or cleaning your room, or I'm going to give you this much time to make sure that you have breakfast ready and have your clothes set out towards the end of the night. So something that she really likes to do, she likes to get on the tablet, get on the games, and play and interact with her friends. So just letting her know, like, hey, if you have everything done, then this is a privilege that you can do or you can take part of. But if it's not completed, then that's where our accountability and consequences start to come in. Instead of just yelling and getting your emotional frustration off for the moment, it creates more of a accurate system. It creates more of a beneficial system for that child. Consistency is so important because repetition shapes behavior. So if you get into the process where they're getting used to you saying, okay, well, you get up we're going to get up at this time and get ready. And then you do that, but then it's like some mornings you don't necessarily get them up. You may skip here, skip there. It's not going to work that way. You definitely have to be consistent if you want to see the progress in the new system that you're trying to create, or the training that you're creating with this child. Consistency builds trust, so they know that they can trust the system, they can trust the process when you stay consistent with them. It's important for them to learn those boundaries, because boundaries teach us how to respect each other, not just in the household, but it teaches them outside of the house. Okay, so this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, and it teaches them respect. Structure also protects their future. So when they get out of the house and you're no longer in the training phase anymore, then they can rely on what they received prior to, and they can say, okay, well, this is how things are done, or this is how I should do things. So it definitely provides that layer of protection for their future. Discipline beats motivation on any day. There are going to be days where they don't always feel motivated to get up, but once they get in that process of, this is what is expected, this is what I should do, and this is what will happen if I don't do what I need to do, then it starts to become like second nature. Self-control is what creates freedom. Feelings aren't going to lead everything, because like I said, every day we're not necessarily going to feel like doing it, and you have to teach your child or teach whoever you're training that there's going to be a time where they don't feel like doing it, but it's something that still needs to be done anyway. How is the environment that you're training that child in? Is everything laid out, or are they having to run here for their socks? Can they easily go to what they laid out the night before? Are you having them lay their clothes out the night before? Part of that training is you know, like the Bible says, teach a child in the way that they should go. So if you're noticing that you're having to yell all the time and you're having to just do a lot of stuff that's out of character, or your pressure is getting raised because you have to keep talking to them over and over on repeat, you have to reflect back to your training, and you have to take responsibility for that also. So is your training accurate? Is your training encouraging? Are you making sure that the environment is set out for good training for them to receive what it is that you're saying? So just a matter of making sure that environment is peaceful. When they wake up in the morning, is it with peace, or is it with, you know, you yelling and being frustrated from the day before? Which leads us to the next topic: communication. How you communicate with them is how they're going to go out and communicate with the world. So are you communicating in a calm manner to where they know how to interact and they know how to talk with people? If you're always just yelling because you're frustrated, then guess what? They're going to take that out into the world, and that's how they're going to communicate with people, because that's how they were taught to communicate. So when they learn from us how to communicate and how to do things, it becomes a habit, and that habit becomes a part of their identity. So how is their identity going to be? Are they going to be someone that can communicate effectively and calm, or are they going to be someone that's always yelling and someone that's always frustrated when trying to get their point across? Structure without love creates rebellion. Emotion without structure creates instability. You need a healthy balance of both, and that's what matters the most. So the next time that you're interacting with your child, you're interacting with the person that you're training, whether this could apply to not even just a child, but someone that you're interacting with or training, you know, on a job. It definitely matters. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, love, peace, and blessings.